You know that amazing app idea you've got in your head? The one you've always thought, man, if only I could code? Well, that whole barrier, it's starting to just melt away. Today, we're going to dive into this really wild concept called vibe coding. It's this idea that you can build real, complex software, not with lines of code, but with, just plain English. Let's see how this actually works.
I mean, just listen to that question for a second. That is the incredible promise of this whole new generation of AI tools. You don't have to be a software engineer anymore. All you need is an idea and the words to describe it. It sounds a little bit like magic, right? But let's see what this looks like in the real world.
So it all starts with a thought, a vibe. You just describe what you want, almost like you're talking to a person. In this example, the goal is an AI pitch mentor. You lay out the whole journey. A user records their voice, the app spits out an amazing pitch, and then they can save it. Simple as that.
And then this happens. This is the moment that honestly feels like sorcery. You hit enter and the AI just goes to work. It's writing hundreds of lines of code, designing a user interface, and then boom, it presents you with this polished, professional-looking app. You went from a paragraph to a product in just a few minutes. It's insane.
Okay, so this is where the story gets really interesting. That initial creation, it's mind-blowing. But what happens next? What happens when you want to change something or add a cool new feature? Well, that's when a lot of creators hit their very first and very big roadblock. And this brings us to what people in the community are calling the vibe wall. It's that super frustrating moment when the magic of that first build just disappears. And suddenly you're stuck in this cycle of errors, bugs, and layouts that just keep breaking. We all go in with the dream, right? The thing on the left. One perfect prompt, one perfect app. But the reality for so many people is the mess on the right. You try to add one tiny little thing, and the entire app just seems to fall apart at the seams. And look, this isn't some theoretical problem. This is a real quote from a user named Tempo on a forum, and it just captures that frustration perfectly. You get something to work, you ask for just one more small thing, and it's total chaos. And this kicks off what I can only call a debugging nightmare. The AI starts writing code with these tiny little errors you can't even see. You hit that try to fix button again and again, but you're really just putting band-aids on a bigger problem. And pretty soon, you find yourself having to open up the web developer console, staring at a bunch of red error messages you don't understand, trying to explain a technical problem to an AI that just isn't getting it. It's a painful loop.
So what's the fix? Is the technology just broken? Not at all. The secret isn't about finding a better tool. It's about finding a better way to communicate. You have to learn how to speak the language that your AI copilot understands.
Okay, here's the key mindset shift. You have to stop thinking of the AI as a mind reader. Instead, think of it like a brilliant engineering intern. It's incredibly fast, super capable, but it will do exactly what you tell it to do, no more, no less. Even if what you say is vague or doesn't make sense. It has zero common sense, it only has your instructions. And the technique that unlocks all of this power is called incremental prompting. Instead of asking for the whole house to be built at once, you ask for one brick at a time. You break your big vision down into the smallest possible pieces, and you build feature by feature, step by step, testing everything as you go. This creates a really simple but incredibly powerful feedback loop. First, you plan one small goal. Second, you write a very specific prompt for just that one thing. Third, you test the result immediately to see if it worked. And fourth, you refine and you repeat. This methodical process keeps the AI from getting confused and stops it from breaking your whole project. Now, to help put this into practice, a lot of successful creators use a handy little acronym, CLEAR. Your prompts need to be concise, logical, and explicit. You need to be adaptive, changing your approach based on what the AI gives you. And finally, be reflective. Always pay attention to what kind of prompts are getting you the best results. Okay, so we've covered the theory. What does this actually look like when you sit down to build something? Let's walk through the new workflow that people are using to build with AI without hitting that wall of frustration.
First, you gotta understand that these new tools have different modes. You can think of it as thinking versus doing. You use chat mode as your AI strategist. This is for planning and brainstorming. The AI suggests a plan, but it doesn't touch your code. This keeps you in control. Then, once you have a solid step-by-step plan, you switch to agent mode, your AI coder, and you let it execute that specific plan.
Now here's a real pro tip. Give your project a brain. You create this central document, often called a knowledge file, and you put everything in there. Your product vision, the tech you're using, key features. This file gets sent with every single prompt, which gives the AI consistent context so it doesn't forget what your project is all about.
So let's go back to our friend Tempo, who is having such a hard time. On the left is the kind of prompt that broke their app, trying to do 3 different things all at once. It's a recipe for disaster. On the right is the solution. 3 separate, focused, incremental prompts. One for the filters, one for the title, and one for the icon. See the difference? Each step is small, clear, and you can test it right away. This right here is the secret.
You know, when you start working this way, it completely changes the game. It's not just about building an app anymore. It's about this whole new partnership between your creativity and the AI's raw power.
And this, of course, brings us to the elephant in the room. The big question everyone is asking. With tools this powerful, is coding dead? Is the job of a coder just obsolete?
And the answer is no. But the job has absolutely changed. Your value isn't just about knowing the syntax of a programming language anymore. Success in this new world comes from your ability to have a clear vision, to break down complex problems into tiny logical steps, and to communicate those steps with absolute clarity. You're basically becoming part product manager and part AI collaborator.
What this all means is that the ability to create is being democratized on a massive scale. The tools are here. The skills are learnable. So the final question really isn't about what the technology can do. It's about what you are going to do with it. What's that idea that you're going to bring to life?